Martin.
Yep. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right. So I read your notes in the forum, and you said that you wanted some help with promotion and deciding if you wanted to keep marketing your current series or move to another one. So why don't you give me an idea of what's going on? Just kind of explain the situation for me.
Certainly. I have an interest in aviation, and I grew up in Chicago. So my current series is a historical thriller mystery series set in the 1930s. It's a young man from the north side of Chicago. He buys an airplane, racing plane, and he's going to make all the money for college, etc. And of course, he runs into trouble. So he turns into the barnstorming detective because he's a barnstormer. So I just released the fourth book, Smuggler's Cove, a couple of weeks ago, and you know, I'll say the launch fizzled. Let me put it that way. I didn't put enough effort into it, but I've got a few reviews. It's got some sales. I'm going to do some additional promotion and so on, but the series just doesn't seem to be t taking off.
Okay.
Um, so I'm already in the middle of editing book five with my editor, and I've got book six about 25% drafted. So my current thought was I have a character that I introduced in book one who's a female insurance investigator. And the idea would be that she's back in book six, but to use that as a pivot and then shift gears and start with kind of her origin story in the mid 1920s, again in Chicago. But now it would be a cozy series rather than a thriller, and it would be female led. And since she's not, within the police, it would be amateur detective.
Hmm.
So looking at things like K-lytics and so on, female led cozy 1920s is still doing pretty well
Okay.
in terms of genres. So that would be a relatively short distance shift from what I'm currently doing.
Hmm.
All right, and now to throw the monkey wrench in.
Yeah.
Um, so, October of last year, I published something a standalone, but it could also be a series, modern day financial thriller, female led, and it was based on a bank collapse that occurred in 2023. So using real events, but basically putting some, political and international espionage behind it, and that book is called The Regulator. So another option would be to expand that into a three or four book series. But again, it would be female led, but it would be modern day setting.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you're just trying to figure out what's going to be the most successful for you.
Absolutely.
So can I ask, before we really get into it, what are you doing? So for your current series that you say is not taking off, what are you doing to promote
Not enough.
it?
Yeah, that's the basic answer. So, I've done some the Kindle discount deals on book one to get folks into the series. I've gone to local book fairs, um, author readings, things like that. I've gotten it into some local media, just little blurbs, and then for example, alumni newsletters for the schools that I went to. So
Hmm.
that's helped out a bit. Did the friends and family. I've done Pubby to get some additional reviews and things.
Hmm.
Um, but I really haven't gone full hog. And then I am running Amazon ads
Okay.
for the first book in the series, which I understand that's the idea is get them into the first book. Don't advertise the
Hmm.
later books in the series.
And how is that going for you? Are you seeing much return from the Amazon ads?
A little bit. And I think one of my challenges is I had identified the target audience as probably, similar to me, male, whatever. I
Mhm.
thought the age range would be pretty broad. Just this week, a friend who's much more advanced into AI and using that to help his author business, put together a tool where we can go in and reuse some prompts to check to see what our audience is, what our keywords should be. So it
Right.
came up with some good keyword suggestions I'm going to try, and some ad suggestions for Amazon ads. But the interesting thing is it identified the audience as males 45 years and older.
Mm.
So that's a narrower audience than I thought
Okay.
I was targeting. Um,
Okay.
so
Yeah. And then how is your email list? Do you have much of an email list or a lead magnet?
I've got a lead magnet. I have been extremely neglectful of doing the newsletter and building the email list, and I know I need to do that. I just I haven't done what I need to do in that area.
Right. Do you have the lead magnet? Is it for this series, like a lead into the series that you're talking about?
Yes, yes. So in the first book, the victim is a World War I ace who is been a war hero, and he's been in a number of Hollywood films and things like that. And there is a crash at that's the inciting incident in book one. So the lead magnet basically goes into his military background and how he became famous. So it's sort of a prequel chapter
Hmm.
to book one, and then in the magnet we also have the repeat the first chapters up to the inciting incident of book one. So if people get it and they haven't actually read book one yet, they'll get hooked in.
Okay, good, good. All right. Well, so here's what I'm hearing. And I would like to know this from you too. You're telling me that you haven't done everything you probably should do to promote the series, and you're
Hmm.
looking to pivot. The problem is that you'll probably end up doing the same things with the other series. So I would hate
Hmm.
to have you pivot and end up having the same results. So I think that there are things you can do to get this series to sell. It sounds pretty solid. I did take a look at it on Amazon. And I think things like you could dial in your blurb a little bit more,
Hmm.
and, like I said, if you could do the email list, I mean, that's going to be your biggest source of sales, especially when you're starting out. But the real question about when it comes to which series you should be pursuing is which one do you want to pursue the most? Like, what is the one that lights you up the most, that you're the most excited to write? Because we can get any of them to where they will sell.
Hmm.
But I think the number one thing, the key, is what you are excited to write, because your excitement and your level of I love what I do in writing these stories is going to come through to the reader on some level. So, is there one that you are excited about above the others? I mean, all other things being equal, if you could get it to sell the way that you wanted it to sell, which one would you want to pursue?
I'd like to pursue the Barnstorming Detective series. I've actually
Okay.
mapped out a total of 18 books in the
Okay.
series, which takes it all the way up through just after World War II ends.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean, I think that this is a solid series. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, and I haven't read any of it, so I don't know
mm,
about your writing style or anything. But I think you can get it to where you want it. Even though you were saying it's kind of a red flag to me when you were saying you might do the cozy one because it's female led. Now, it is true that female leads are high selling because there's a lot of women
mhm,
who read books, but it sounds to me like your audience is more male.
mhm,
And there's plenty of male readers out there when you get action adventure male leads, things like Jack Reacher and Clive
mhm.
Cussler and all of those sorts of things. So there is a big audience out there for you. You're just not quite to the point where you're reaching them very well yet.
Okay.
So if you really love the series and it's the one you want, I would stick with it a little bit longer. Um,
Okay.
I would definitely. Do you know about the platforms like BookFunnel and StoryOrigin? Are you familiar with them at all?
Yes, I am, and again, those are I've procrastinated and haven't popped on there and done what I should there. I am
Right.
on BookBub, and I've done some BookBub ads, but
Okay.
I've dabbled rather than been serious.
So the biggest thing I would have you do is get on. I would probably do BookFunnel. It's the one I use. It's some of the others like Story Origin is pretty good too, but BookFunnel is kind of the OG one that everybody is
Hmm.
still using a lot. And I mean, I know that for me, I went probably in the beginning like 2 years and only had like 15 people on my list. They were mostly people I knew. Um, and then once I started doing BookFunnel, you put
Hmm.
your lead magnet up and you put it
Right.
into their promotions, right? Within a few months, I had 1,000 people on my list.
Okay.
So they work really well. And the only drawback is that you will get some freebie seekers doing that. You really can't get away from it, but just
Sure.
clean your list every 6 months. Anyone who hasn't opened an email in 6 months, take them off your list. And do you have an email autoresponder? Like, are you with MailChimp or any of
With
those?
MailerLite.
MailerLite. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure for MailerLite exactly what the process is, but if you just get on and Google, most email autoresponders have something set up a lot of the times
Hmm.
already for you to clean your list. Like they have a way to do it. So you just Google how to clean cold subscribers from my list in MailerLite, and it'll come up with instructions for you. And that way you're always cleaning off the people who aren't serving you and you're not paying for email addresses that aren't serving you. But among those, side by side with the freebie seekers, you will get really loyal readers as well who will be willing to beta read for you, leave you reviews, all kinds of things. So I would really encourage you to start building your list. That's probably going to make a big difference for you. See how much you can build your list by the time the next book comes out.
Hmm.
And, always be sending them, not always, you don't want to
Hmm.
overload them, but send them blurbs, send them the first chapter, send them any sales you're having, that sort of thing, to drum up readers, because once you get enough of them into book one, you'll start seeing them go through the series. Um, Beyond that, I I did notice that the first book that I was looking at was actually book four, and I had to go back
Hmm.
through and find book one. Book one's blurb was better. Book four's I thought could have used a little dialing in. So
Hmm.
let me share my screen really fast, and
Okay.
so we can look at your blurb,
Sure.
because I think, okay, so this is book one, and your blurb. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's a fairly solid blurb. Don't get me wrong, but it's also a little bit vague in parts. So this is something that I work with authors a lot on. There's the type of blurb that has all of the pieces to it, that we're always told to put in, but you
Hmm.
almost have to take it a notch past that. And that's where a lot of authors struggle. And that is that you want to get the emotion of the story into the blurb. And because this is a male audience, you don't want to go too overly emotional, because it's a little different with a male audience than a female audience. But for example,
Hmm.
we kind of want the main characters, TJ, we want his reaction to things, basically. So
Hmm.
this thing happens where there's a tragedy that strikes someone else, but he's blamed for it.
Right.
We kind of want, how does he feel about that? Does it make him really angry? Does it make him sad? Does it make him stressed out and worried about his future? To clear his name and secure his future, okay, but how is he going about that? Like, is he determined to clear his name no matter what? Is he worried that it's not going to happen? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, just give us a little
Right.
bit more of his reactions. Um, and I'm not asking you to bloat the word count. You don't have to necessarily make it longer. Just give us a few
Right.
words, half a sentence here and there, to give us his reactions. And then let's see. And then, yeah, a few more details in some places. Like, for example, the second paragraph with the help of allies he meets along the way. I think it would be
Hmm.
stronger if you told us a little bit about one of those allies. Um, like, tell me
Okay.
about some of these allies, who they are.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and one of them is given away in a little editorial comment down at the bottom by James Ben, and that's
Mm.
Jimmy Doolittle. So, in each of the books, there's a prominent historical character, real
Okay.
person that interacts with the story. Um,
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's if you want to put that in, I think that
hmm.
would be fun. Um, but I mean, even if it wasn't someone that was a prominent historical figure,
Hmm.
if you were to put in just some detail about them, like with the help of a bumbling, detective, or a high-powered female lawyer, you know what I mean, just to give us an
Sure, sure.
idea. But you can definitely name drop the historical names, and I think that would be really fun.
Okay.
If you have a great idea for a story premise,
but you don't know where you're going with it. If you're having a really hard time filling in plot events or finishing your current WIP, or if you're constantly worried that your story is boring or dragging or that your readers won't like it, then I encourage you to join the Legendary Fiction Forge, my monthly membership for fiction authors. Inside, I will give you the complete A to Z blueprint for how to write highly emotional stories that your readers will absolutely fall in love with, no matter what your genre or tropes are. Want to become a widely read, highly paid master storyteller? Then join us in the Legendary Fiction Forge and finally get that epic story that's been knocking around in your brain forever out to the world.
And then just the end where it says, TJ must race against time to uncover the truth. Again, that's the problem is that your reader can't picture what that is. Like it's an
Hmm.
exciting sentence and it's true to the story, but what does that look like for him? If you could actually
Okay.
put them in his experience of what's going on. So basically we need to give higher stakes than that.
Okay.
If he's racing against time to uncover the truth, what happens if he doesn't? Is he going to die? Is someone else going to die? Is he going to lose his aviation dream? I mean, tell us what exactly it is, and also maybe how he feels about it. Like, if it's that he's going to lose his aviation dream, like, is that going to be the end of the world for him? You know, how does he
Hmm.
feel about it? What is his reaction to it? So, if you could put a little bit more of that into your blurb, I think it would convert a little bit better for you.
Okay.
So, I would try that. And then, like I said, start building your email list, because that's the other thing
Hmm.
I'm thinking. Once you start building your email list, you really want your blurb dialed in so that when they read it, they want to go pick it up. I got to know what's going to happen in that book, you know, because they have actually felt like they were in the story, in the experience of the story by reading the blurb.
Sounds good.
Um, what else? Do you have, so my next question is, let me stop my share real fast. You said that you're doing some Amazon ads, so you have a little bit of a budget for ads, or are you looking more for free promotion strategies?
Well, I'm doing both. I do have a budget for the Amazon ads. So I had the the auto ad set up, and then I've gone in and done just a little bit of tuning, and then done I forget the correct name, but I'll say custom ads with particular keywords.
Sure.
And then on the BookBub side, I've tried to tie into um, uh, what I call my tier ones, which are self-published authors that are in the mystery thriller space. Most of them are doing contemporary
Hmm.
thrillers or mysteries, so that's a bit of a challenge. But again, trying to hook into their readership a little bit.
Um, so I'm wondering too, I mean, have you researched any authors that are doing more of a historical thriller kind of thing?
I haven't found any that are how can I put this, that um, are in my zone. A lot of them are doing World War II. It's been very popular, particularly with the 80th anniversaries of various battles and things.
Right.
So there's a number of series, either from independent, self-published or small publishing houses, like
Mm,
Severn River and stuff and those are doing very well. Um,
okay. So have you looked at the authors that your readers have also bought from on Amazon? Have you ever looked at that?
yeah, that's kind of how I do my
That's how
my
you did
my
it.
tier one. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that's good. And that looks a little bit, I'm just kind of taking a look at them here.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, the other thing you could try, and I mean, if the Amazon ads are working for you, then by all
Mhm.
means keep doing that. Um, I have found Facebook ads, or I guess we have to call them meta ads now, to
Mhm.
sometimes be a little bit more, I mean, I guess successful, but with Amazon ads, there's very little you can control about them. You know, you
Right.
can put up the ad and then you're just hoping that the algorithm picks it up, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it
Mhm.
doesn't. And there's certain things to do that can make them work really well, but it takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of working on them. I've always had a hard time getting them to work for my books simply because I don't have the time to put in to figure it
Hmm.
out. So once I can pay someone to do it for me, I probably will. But to me, Facebook ads seem to be more of a one-to-one. You can kind of see what's working right away and you can
Hmm.
control a lot more of the variables. So you might consider getting into those. There's something called click testing. And
Hmm.
are you familiar with that at all?
Yes. Yeah.
Most places that you can learn it, it does cost money, like you have to buy a course. So it just depends
Hmm.
on whether you want to do that or not, but you can always look it up. Excuse me. And it's just like trying different um, creatives, like the picture that you're using,
Hmm.
trying different copy thing. It just teaches you how to do that. And if you can do
Hmm.
it relatively quickly. I mean, if you know what to test, it
Hmm.
only takes $200 or $300 and you'll have an ad that you will know will work for you. And that's the kind of thing that you can turn it on and it will continually get you sales. You know what I mean? So you might
Yep.
look into that. Like I said, it does take a little bit of money up front, so it's going to depend on your budget, but that
Hmm.
might be the next iteration you want to do. Do you have any kind of social media or anything?
Yeah, I've got so I'm on Facebook,
Mhm.
and I've also joined into like a number of historical fiction Facebook groups.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a reasonable presence there. I also do nonfiction books. Those are on LinkedIn. I haven't
Mm,
really pushed any of the fiction on LinkedIn, but
right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that your biggest asset here is going to be your email list. So I would
Hmm.
definitely get that started. I think that's, like I said, that's the biggest thing. You can do social media, but it takes a little bit longer to
Hmm.
build it up organically. The other thing is that the groups, I'm kind of sad about Facebook groups a little bit. I mean, not really, but it's a little bit of a
Hmm.
bummer because they used to work really well. For a while, they were Facebook's
Hmm.
number one thing where you could be seen, where everything was really organic, the way that comments and posts were seen. And that has completely died in the last couple of years. Like things that
Oh.
I would go to before and put a post in and get tons of replies, now it just sits there. I maybe get one reply, and it's because Facebook isn't showing things inside the
Oh.
group. The algorithm has
Hmm.
changed. So it's not that it's bad at all to be part of groups, but just know that it doesn't have quite the pull that it used to. You
Okay.
may also want to, if you're in those groups though, look at the different people that are in there and see if you can find other authors who write the same genre, as you do, the
Hmm.
same time period and everything, and see if you can collaborate with them and cross
Sure.
promote to your audiences and things.
Hmm.
But again, most people who would be willing to do that are going to want you to have an email list so that they
Right.
can get some from you too. So I think those are
Sure.
the main things. Like I said, I encourage you to do what you feel most passionate about and not just what you think will work, because chances are you're going to get the same results if you jump to something else and end up doing the same things. But there are some things you can dial in. So I would say give it, I don't know, maybe 3 to 6 months and just
Hmm.
really try to grow your email list in that time, connect with your readers, do some of these other things like keep doing the ads. If you want to expand on that, you can
Okay.
find other people to promote with. Although doing the email list on BookFunnel, that really does give you other people to promote with. It's all set up that way.
Hmm.
That sort of thing. And then just see where you are in a few months and you can reevaluate and say, is this, something I still want to do? Um, that sort of thing. And, if you need help, you can always reach out to me or whoever, someone to, you have an editor, which is good. So
Hmm.
you're getting some help. So yeah, I think you're on track. It's just not, it hasn't picked up the way you want. But again, I think the email list will make a big difference there.
Sounds great. Yeah, yeah. I kick myself for not doing it, but then I procrastinate. So I
Yeah.
need to get off get off the dime, as they say.
Welcome to being a writer. We all do it.
Yeah. It's just it's easier to dive in and write the next book, but
It is. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, do you think you're procrastinating because you don't know what to write in your emails? Is that the problem?
no, no, that's really not a problem.
Okay.
One of the easy things about doing the historical mysteries is in the emails I can talk about, the history, the airplanes, the actual neighborhood, because it's all based on reality. Can go into more detail about some of the historical characters that are, featured in the different stories. So, as a storyteller, that's not an issue. It's more, getting it set up and then doing the administration of the list and stuff, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, once you get it all set up, it should work pretty well on
Mhm.
autopilot. The only thing you'll have to do is go in and clean it, once every 6 months or whenever you do. So yeah, I know it's intimidating at first to get it set up, and like you said, you've got plenty of other things you could be doing, but um, so I would just put it on your calendar, like block it out,
Mhm.
do the setup, and then like maybe once a week go in and look at the promotions on BookBub, because you do have to add your book to the promotions. Do it once a
Mhm.
week for half an hour, add it to 3 to 5 promotions, make sure that you are sending those to your email list. That's one thing you
Mhm.
can put in your list to say, go look at these promotions, because they require that. But if you just get used to it like that, you'll be amazed. I think your list will grow really, really fast.
Great.
Okay.
Well, it's really good advice. I really appreciate you taking time with me.
Yeah, thanks for coming to talk to me. Anything else I can help you with before we wrap up?
No, I think this is good. I'm a big believer in look at, what your priorities are, and if you got more than three priorities, they're not priorities.
Yeah. And unfortunately, even though we would all love to sit in our cave and write our books and not do anything else, sometimes if we want to make money, we do have to make our promotion a priority. So yeah, I feel you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was great to meet you, and good luck with everything. I do think that this is a fun series, and I hope you can get it to have the success that you're looking for.
Well, thank you very much. And again, I appreciate you taking time with me today.
Sure thing. Bye, Martin.
Goodbye.
If you have a great idea for a story premise, but you don't know where you're going with it, if you're having a really hard time filling in plot events or finishing your current WIP, or if you're constantly worried that your story is boring or dragging or that your readers won't like it, then I encourage you to join the Legendary Fiction Forge, my monthly membership for fiction authors. Inside, I will give you the complete A to Z blueprint for how to write highly emotional stories that your readers will absolutely fall in love with, no matter what your genre or tropes are. Want to become a widely read, highly paid master storyteller? Then join us in the Legendary Fiction Forge and finally get that epic story that's been knocking around in your brain forever out to the world.